Hi everyone, I'm Dave and welcome to the shop. Today I'll be discussing the initial break-in run-up of a 1959 235 Chevy engine. The engine is sitting on a 1954 Chevy pickup frame that I salvaged from a burned-out truck. It makes a great test stand for running old GM 6-cylinders. This engine is unique in that I incorporated a full-flow oil modification that filters 100% of the oil before ever entering the main lubrication system. The 4-inch pipe and T are for getting around the exhaust efficiently. The spin-on filter adapter is a TransDapt 1028, and the entire setup is described at the site below. I always like to put a drain cock at the back of the engine. It's a great way to drain the engine block. The alternator is a 1-wire 80 amp model. The terminal labeled R goes to the gauges, and F is the field wire that goes to the alternator's main terminal. The main wire goes through the ammeter to the positive side of the battery. This is the driver's side view. I also incorporated choke and throttle controls. Adding a muffler to the test stand was a must, and then it was also a must to install an exhaust port in the garage door and get some of the special exhaust hose used by most auto shops to vent the fumes. This is the side I'll be spending the most time with. The plugs are gapped to .035 per the spec and torqued to 25 foot-pounds. A 12-volt resistor coil will provide the spark for this initial run-up. Once we prime the oil pump to ensure we have oil getting to the rockers and 30 pounds of oil pressure, we will install the distributor. Pour your oil all over each valve spring, rocker, shaft, everything to ensure it's all lubricated. Use your drill with a large spade-tip screwdriver to spin the oil pump. We are looking for oil flow to the rocker assembly. Since the rocker assembly is the last place oil is distributed, this tells us the entire oil distribution system is working. Not only do we see oil coming up through the little holes in each rocker arm, but it also drips back down to lubricate the lifters. Since 30 psi is where the oil pump bleed valve is set, I can live with max pressure using the drill. Let's get the distributor set in place. I won't bore you with my fumbling around too much other than to say, if there is an O-ring on your distributor shaft, remove it. It doesn't belong there, and it can cause the distributor to not seat properly in the oil pump slot. To set it in place, turn your engine to the number 1 firing position. I had a crankshaft bolt installed so I can easily turn the engine with a socket wrench. If you haven't seen a really nice way to mark your flywheel for all cylinders top dead center, check the link here. Place the distributor in so that the rotor points to the number 1 plug. I like to position number 1 at the 5 o'clock position with the wire terminal facing exactly away from the engine block. It takes some trial and error because the cam gear moves the distributor shaft counterclockwise a bit, and the oil pump slot needs to be turned with a screwdriver to accept it. Once the distributor is properly installed and we have made sure the carb is getting fuel, it's time for the initial run-up, which we will join in progress. This was a standard 20-minute run at 2000 RPM, with the last 5 minutes graduating to 2250 RPM. If everything is checked and double-checked, you can have a nice, uneventful 20-minute run. However, if something isn't right, don't be afraid to just shut it off and start over. Watch that oil pressure like a hawk during this initial run-up. This was mostly an uneventful run-up. There are many things left to do, like tweaking the timing, carb adjustment, compression tests, etc. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. The entire build has been carefully documented at the link below. Every system and subsystem has been addressed. Check my YouTube channel from time to time. The plan is to add much more about Advanced Design Era 1947 through 1955 First Series restoration topics. Thanks again.